And good evening, League of Excellent Extraordinary Negroes. Today we are talking about The Gilded Age, Season 1. It has been picked up for a second season. But we do have some, I guess, Nick's hot takes that we're going to talk about before we talk about The Gilded Age. Um, as we begin, I'm Jade.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Julia.
How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. Recovering from
great.
the slap.
You feel like you got slapped last night, Julia?
Yeah. By my inbox.
It's funny because we were talking about all the things that we stopped doing because the slap happened. Like, I was in full rehearsal, and my production assistant, like, who should absolutely not be on his phone, was like, hey, real quick, I just want everybody to know that Will Smith just slapped Chris Rock at the Oscar award. And I was like, what? We can stop for this. I was like, we have to see what's happening.
See, I didn't think it was that serious. I thought, because I heard my mother when Will was accepting his award. So I went in, so I didn't watch the Oscars, but I did go in to see his acceptance speech. And I was wondering, why did he apologize? I didn't know. And so she said, well, you missed the part where he slapped Chris Rock. And I was like, Mama, hold on. Just let me listen to what he's saying. And she kept saying, but you missed the part. And I was like, Mama, hold on. And then he finished, and she was like, you missed the part where he slapped Chris Rock. And I said, Mama, that was probably just, And then somebody sent it to me, and I was like, what the hell?
Like, wait, that's actual aggression.
Yeah.
That is not what I was thinking.
Oh, wow.
At all.
You could tell from the walk, though, like the walk up. That's my thing. I'm like, Chris, now, if you was on the mean streets of Brooklyn and you saw somebody walking up to you with shoulders.
But, you would have to think that they know each other.
Right.
And, one black man going up to another one, and Will is a jokester.
Well, see, but that slap, that wasn't.
Well, that was no joke.
And I know that the face that he had on as he was walking up was not a joke. He said, uh-oh.
Right.
Like as he saw him coming on stage. And my thing is, I'm like, we are all jokesters. If in that moment, in my improv, I would have ran, because what you're not about to do is walk up on me on this stage like this. And then it's like a chase. Oh, go get me, Will. Oh. Then it's funny. Then we can play it off.
So Toby is Mark. Hey, Toby. So this is what I thought. Money makes you really comfortable, obviously.
Yes.
Because he just stood there. He had one hand behind his back. Like what is he going to do? Like, what's the gag? What's getting ready to happen? And then he got slapped, and his whole face went this way.
Those pictures.
And he was like, wow. Like, then the reality sets in. Like, I just got slapped.
But I thought you were going to say Will was awfully comfortable, jumped up at an award ceremony that is a live broadcast, and goes up and slaps the presenter. Like, that's privilege. Also. Okay? And it will be bad, but I wish it was a white comedian. Then I would have felt better about it. But this black on black thing, Chris Rock is not that controversial, and not anymore since his Pookie days. Well, but it wasn't that bad of a joke.
Well,
it wasn't that bad of a joke. Clearly, Jada's going through it. Clearly,
right. And this is not the first time he's done that at the Oscars.
There is a storyline.
He always does that. They
but
always,
to her specifically, and she wasn't even at the one that he made comments about.
And that was the joke. So at just for a little context for folks, at the 2016 Academy Awards, where Chris Rock was the host, he made a joke about
their
Jada,
open relationship, right?
About their open relationship.
Yes.
And he was like, Will and Jada were mad. They didn't. And there was something, I think Oscar So White. Was that the Oscar So White year?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of folks did not come And he was like, Will and Jada were mad, and Jada's mad. She's on a TV show. I thought at the Oscars for movies, like, and he made a joke about how her not coming to the Oscars was like him not coming to Rihanna's underwear, which is weird, first and foremost. But he was like, I wasn't invited. And so, like, there's like a long
But that was a whole thing. Like, she was asked about that by different outlets because she wasn't there, and he made this joke. So it's been a building thing, I think.
Well,
and so now for it to be about something that's like a legit medical concern that she's been open about, and to open it to like this level of scrutiny, which it didn't have before, on this like size of a stage again, like, why her? Like, exactly, like, I know you, man, like, this is my wife.
You know what it is? It's Black people are safe. I can talk about Black people because we good friends, and nothing's gonna happen to me.
And so another part of me said, you're not going to talk about my wife, and I'm not going to give you permission or anybody else's permission to talk about her in this situation.
But could he have done that backstage? Could he have gone up to Chris or taken the mic? He could have taken the mic and said, "Don't talk about my fucking wife."
He could have yelled from his seat.
Yes,
like, there are many other ways he could have handled this situation.
He could. But I'm going to tell you what, Chris ain't going to say nothing else about his wife.
Well, Chris might not say much ever. You know,
problem,
today,
as far as Will is concerned, problem solved.
But are we condoning what Will did? He's been known to slap people. Okay, Will slapped a reporter on the red carpet. Like, he slaps people. And you would think, like, an open-handed, like, you would think you'd punch him, but okay. But so why is he...
Hold on. Felicia said Chris was lucky he got hit with an open hand and not a closed fist. I thought at first he did punch him.
Yes, it looked like it, because he sprang back, right?
Well, so then my mind goes back to history, like taking your glove off and slapping a man in the face.
That was not this.
That's not what he did. That's not quite what happened.
That's not quite. I think it was the equivalent.
I mean, I also think, you know, here's the thing. The slap is one thing. I think what people are like actually responding to is the yelling from the seat on top of the slap.
Oh, no.
I think it's the compound, because that was when I was like, oh, this is like for real, for real, for real. Right. Oh, it's for real, for real, for real. He just yelled it twice.
Yeah. That was like, the Philly. I was like, oh, yes.
Because it could have been like Chris Rock could have said, I just got slapped by Will Smith, and it could have been done. And he could have gone on, and people would have been like, "That was, did he slap?" It would there would be more confusion than it is like this like intense like conversation that we're having about it.
Right.
And I don't know what to say about that, other than that it's something that I have deduced.
So are we condoning what he did?
I wouldn't have done it.
The Academy is now looking at how to scold him. And they have included, since they've condemned him formally, they have concluded that punishment will range up to revoking the award. What do we think about that? The second Black man to win Best Actor
just got himself together. I mean, and Denzel was right. You get your highest point, and then here come the devil. That was it.
I just don't know why he got up and slapped that man with such indignation on the television like that.
But wait a minute.
And like
so I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had the same look on his face. Did he just go up there?
Right. Like and here's the thing. I am not condoning. I don't know. It's a tricky conversation because first of all, my first thought is these people are rich. As we discussed, they are
Yes.
wealthy. This is some rich people problem. Like,
Right.
this is honestly probably, if we want to talk about it, if we want to talk about the real underground Hollywood conspiracy theories, this is a story that they've been trying to weave since 2016 that has finally paid off. Like, so like, there's one thing. But two, like, I'm like, y'all, what's going to happen out of this is we're going to have a more serious conversation about alopecia, and that's amazing. Because at the end of the day, this, like, I'm not condoning it, but I'm like, whatever. Like, Will Smith got up at the Academy Awards, right, and slapped a man in the face. And and that's what happened. And then he won the award afterwards. And so apologized to everyone except for Chris.
If you have questions in the comment, put them in the comment. Not that we have any answers, but I have more questions.
Chris
did apologize.
Did he apologize today or yesterday?
Today.
Okay.
Earlier when he said he wasn't going to press charges.
Because Will just apologized.
That would have looked stupid.
Yes.
Yeah. Will just apologized like 30 minutes before we started recording.
But I think only out of peer pressure and fear that the Academy would take his award. He's not sorry.
I think he's sorry.
Who, Chris? Will?
He is not sorry. No.
No, I don't think he's sorry at all.
Did you see his Vanity Fair after party pictures?
No, I think he's sorry that it happened there.
No.
He ain't sorry for slapping that man in the face.
No, and I think he's been taking an L for what happened with Jada and the whole like crying meme thing. Like,
right.
A man. Part of that was he wanted to prove his manhood, but he did it at the wrong time and with the wrong person.
But does he get his black card back?
He never got revoked. Jada and her entanglements.
Are you sure?
He was having entanglements too. He just didn't say. And then it was in the run-up.
Will been getting jiggy with it for a while. We would have never suspected him to bring the hood back out.
Yeah.
Because we never saw the hood. We saw Awards. Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, summertime madness,
It's pure insanity. I don't condone either of their behavior. Whatever. He was making a joke. It was a bad joke. He poked at somebody that he's poked at for too long. And the man just played. And like, this is a conversation that is out there as well.
Janine says she blames Will. I think it's Packer for putting Chris up as a presenter.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
It's not my brother. No.
But there's also a conversation that's going around right now about like, and I think he mentioned that he was like, I just played this character and that's who I was being. And I'm like, there's like a dangerous like mindset that exists around that for me. I never like to think that I'm like becoming or like ingesting parts of a character to like come into my life in that way that make me go onto the stage at the Oscars and slap somebody in the face. When I could just as easily slap them. You know what? Let's compare this to one of my favorite moments in pop culture history.
And then we'll get to the Gilded Age.
The 1998 VMA performance of The Boy Is Mine featuring Brandy and Monica.
Okay.
There is legend that backstage, like, because, I'm gonna give you a real quick, like, here's what happened. So they record The Boy Is Mine. Rumor has it they didn't like each other so much that they like recorded in separate places. And when they recorded like the video, they would like record and then go back to their trailers and not talk. Brandy performs The Boy Is Mine on Leno alone as a part of her album release before they get a chance to perform it together. So rumor has it they're performing it together for the first time at the VMAs in 1998. And as Monica was walking by, she decked Brandy in the face.
Yes.
And so if you watch that video of them performing, like they're not really looking at each other. They're just like doing the thing. And like, there's kind of a little bit of competition. Like that's because Brandy like had a fresh punch in her face. Ooh. So if it would have happened backstage, then it would just be legend. And that would be like, quote unquote, the positive way to do it. So like people punch people in the face. Like, just because this man is rich and famous, and
he's still a human being.
He's still a human person that got mad at somebody and hit him in the face. If it wouldn't have happened on stage, this wouldn't even be a conversation. People would just be like, Chris got punched in the face because by Will Smith.
And there's another rumor that, at first he kind of laughed it off, but then that
you saw him.
Well, there's a rumor that Jada started to tear up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very like, it feels like there is a lot of anger around this very human interaction that happens a lot in celebrity world. Like, celebrities hit each other in the face a lot. The difference is it was at the Oscars.
No.
He just came on the giant. He came on the pretty stage where that's not supposed to happen because decorum and do. But what are we celebrating? We are celebrating the spirit of people doing exactly. This is those people in that theater are now going to make movies about this. He just gave them job security.
Oh my God! No, I hate to see a black man lose his temper right when he's about to get the highest award in Hollywood. He lost his temper, and I don't want us to glorify that.
I don't want to glorify the award so much that person can't have a lapse in judgment and it become
You mean assault someone on national TV?
It's not assault. He wasn't charged.
Oh.
I'm just saying, you can't throw that word around unless there's a charge.
That was assault.
That he was punched in the face for talking.
He was
out of turn.
It was a physical altercation, and you've got black kids sitting at home. Beyonce performed in Compton. I didn't like that color on her, but whatever. And then you've got Venus and Serena. You've got Will, who I don't think he could be King Richard because King Richard got the shit beat out of him at every turn. If you watch the movie, he got beat up. Like, I don't know that this is good representation for us. And his Oscar, Will Smith, will always be symbolized by the slap. He'll never have a clear shot.
But he got it. Here's my thing.
They're thinking of taking it away from him.
I don't think they're going to take it.
I don't think they will. And if they do, wow. Like, and like let's talk about some of the things that the people that have Oscars and hold their Oscars have done to people in many ways that are violent. They just didn't happen on stage at the Oscars.
See,
all he did was I'm just
because he's rich doesn't mean he's a black man.
No, what I am talking about is the given prestige of this honor. The reason that the Academy Award is the most decorated award is because it has been for 94 years. There's the Academy is broken. They aren't reviewing all the content at the same rate. They aren't doing any of the EDI work that they've talked about. They gave a timeline that was 7 years out. This is an antiquated form of who is good at this skill of acting. And so for me, what is happening right now is the prestige of this false idol that is the Academy Awards has turned this situation that was a slap. There is rampant sexual assault in Hollywood. There is rampant violent abuse. People have killed people, and people that have done all those things have Academy Awards, and they have not been revoked. And I think that it's a miscount on representation for us, but I think it's also representation of where we are as a country that can happen when we just saw somebody get slapped on stage. He got slapped in the mouth. That's all that happened. More violent things have happened and people still keep their awards.
And Chris recovered and kept going and got off the stage.
Yes, good for him for professionalism because he didn't even fight back. He could have. That
he wasn't expecting
an altercation. Right. But you get some people up there.
Exactly.
You slap them, it's on.
Well,
it didn't become the problem
because Will knew who he could slap.
He knew who he could slap. He knew who he could slap.
That's right.
But it didn't become the problem.
Slap the Rock.
I still think it is big. It is a problem. I don't quote unquote condone it, but also all he did was slap that man on TV.
Okay, so if it was at the BET Awards,
it would be fine. And that's what I'm saying. It would be fine. Like, people would talk about it, but it wouldn't be this level of scrutiny and like dialogue around the
He
like
pull a
this
gun.
thing. Right. He didn't kill that man. He slapped him.
it wasn't like Suge Knight backstage.
He didn't even punch him.
Right.
Like, he slapped him.
Like, we've seen worse.
An open hand slap. Like, that's all that happened.
But it was hard. Like, you saw Chris, like,
we all saw, because the media is disrespectful. That's who he should be mad at. Like, why they got his face everywhere like this morning? Like, that is disrespectful.
They panned to him, and we heard him clearly. He didn't have the mic on.
I don't know. Will went down a notch for me. He went down a notch.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what?
He just got back up for me. I mean,
listen,
before the slap.
I know.
No notch that any of them are on is one that we could ever reach. They are wealthy. This is rich people problem.
Right.
He is fine. That man is fine.
They are not watching this podcast.
Are we as a people fine? There's a black people. I mean, whatever. At this point, everything
had
is a
to get up this morning and go to work.
Yeah, and at this point, everything that does happen. I mean, Ketanji is an incredible feat. Like that she's like gotten to that level.
Abused in the public sphere. Like, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's
like one more minute.
Sorry, but that is what we saw was a completely legal and systematized, like, brutal attack on a black woman, like if that was being interviewed for the highest job in our country, and instead of being
but it's legal,
outraged about that,
right.
we are mad that this black man slapped this black man on the Oscars.
The joke was not that bad. It was just G.I. Jane 2. That's all the joke was.
I saw more violence in the hearing than I saw in that one slap that Chris Rock got in the mouth for making a joke. And I don't think and those happened within days. So, like,
right,
the fact that this is that blaring alarm that becomes the same conversation that we've had over and over is like
no
stressful.
Because it was legal what they did to her, but it was absolutely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What they did to Jada?
Ketanji.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But does that rise to the level of Chris Rock's joke? No.
But that's what everybody's talking about.
It is. But, Amanda Seales went on and said, you know what? I'm sure Chris Rock didn't know that she had a medical condition. A lot of women shave their head. We know a future news anchor that has rocked a bald head for years and still got it in. So, I mean, I don't think that he knew the hurt that he was causing. And I don't think he deserved that type of public rebuke. I mean, people, at this rate, if Chris Rock gets a slap, I don't want to talk about Gilded Age. If Chris Rock gets a slap, you would go shoot Dave Chappelle. Like, I mean, that's the difference.
What?
Yes. He would be.
No, we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to go down that road. Because we're here to talk about the Gilded Age. And there's enough shade in this show. There's enough shade in the show. Okay. So
yes,
bring
Gilded
us back around. Bring us back around.
Nixon. Yes,
bring us back around. Here we go.
Oh, yes. That is a lovely jumpsuit. Wow.
Yes.
Or no, it's a pants and jacket.
Yes. So the Gilded Age. We all saw it. And were you going to see it before I told you that we were going to talk about it?
Yes.
No. I had seen it. I knew that a lot of Broadway people were going to be on it, so I was like, that's fun. But then I wasn't going to invest. Have
you seen Downton Abbey?
No.
Oh, I love Downton Abbey.
Okay.
Which is why I thought I'd watch The Gilded Age.
All right. So, yeah, I love Downton. I've seen every episode probably twice.
Yeah, same here.
3 times. and very lack of melanin in the show. But I mean, that's the location, that's the history, that's fine. But coming to New York and looking at the Gilded Age, there was no way that you're going to get around not talking about people of color in New York in 1882, 1883. I keep mixing them up because my show 1882 was 1883 was out too, so they're both at the same time period. Nick, you have a question?
Yes. Actually, should I wait? Why wasn't that just the story?
What?
Like, why couldn't we just spend time with Audra McDonald and her gorgeous black family?
Well, I mean, that's a different show, and
it's a better show.
Well, I mean, and also, what's his name? That is the creator, Fellows. Is it Justin Fellows? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I just rolled it off, and I don't trust myself. Julian Fellows. So he was creating this show, and they said that he created it because there were so many American viewers of Downton Abbey that he wanted to honor that. Like, let's do something that happened in America and talk about a history that is very, very real and people may not know a whole lot about. And to his credit, one of the producers is a Black woman, and Sally is one of the directors that steered a lot of what we saw on the screen. So the fact that there are Black people present in this story, they couldn't get around it. But I also think that to tell the story of the Gilded Age, you have to include the white people.
I don't think you have to. It could have been a niche show. Would HBO Max have picked it up? I don't think so.
That's a different show. That's a different show.
Yeah.
So, who's in this? Oh, no. Summary of show.
Okay, summary of show.
Anybody got summary? I'll do it.
Yes. A group of wealthy white people argue about who deserves to be where when in their wealthy white neighborhoods and distract from charity work while hiring Black people to work for them, but liking them enough that they can stay in the house.
In the servants' quarters.
Right. And there's also, it's it follows a formula. It's still upstairs, downstairs.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Now it's just
is that a good summary of the show?
And uptown.
I'm just kidding. Jade, you should give a better summary of the show.
That's great. That's it. Great.
Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, it's the Gilded Age. It's the 1880s. The new money and the old money.
Yeah.
And throw in some Black money.
And they're just mad about it. And then they're Black people there sometimes.
But it's interesting that they feature historical real people. Like the Astors, the Chamberlains. Like those are real people. The Russells, I don't know.
The Russells are based off of real people too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the Vanderbilts.
Oh. Even though they do mention the Vanderbilts.
Yes, they talk about the Vanderbilts, but they weren't in railroads. The Vanderbilts didn't do railroads.
Wait a minute.
But you can check and see who did Union Station. That would tell you.
Now I'm forgetting my people, but it is one of those names.
Okay.
It's one of those. And
they mentioned the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's very much based off of real folks.
Mm-hmm. Which makes it more interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
But some of the Vanderbilt is in there because he's very much Commodore Vanderbilt. Yeah, so they're weaving in some other stories, even though they're mentioned.
Well, and I think that's them just like making the world real is like dropping in that stuff.
Yes. What were the scores? How did this rate
for IMDb an 8.1 out of 10.
That's high praise for
Yeah.
That.
And the Rotten Tomatoes got 80% and a 69% audience score.
A 69%?
Yeah.
That's kind of low.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's I kept falling asleep watching the show.
Well,
Really?
Because I was like, one, I've been doing a lot of things, so I'm very tired.
yeah.
But two, like, I was like, is anything gonna happen? Like, and then I realized that if you watch this is what happened last time on the show, you could keep up. Like, you could just watch all 9 of those and just like know what happened on the show.
But you didn't watch Downton Abbey, so it is a very slow kind of build, and it's not a whole lot of action. It's a lot of wordplay and cutting, and
But they're British people, so I know that I would like it more because they're already more interesting.
Well,
most of the people playing these
one black
characters are
person.
British.
Right. Therein lies the rub. They had to hire people from outside to make this show even that interesting.
But not all of them are. Not all of them are.
A lot of them are like very successful Broadway actors, and it was great to see them work in this way. Oh my God.
Okay, so who's who?
Yes. Who we got in the show? Carrie Coon is in the show.
Carrie Coon is
she is Bertha Russell. Saw her in
Bertha.
Chicago in Bug. She was great.
Really?
Morgan, yeah. Yeah, she was awesome.
She was
There's a lot of like stage actors.
Yes.
Musicians in this cast.
Kristen Baranski plays Agnes Van Ryan. Hilarious. She's funny to me. She's annoying, but she's funny because she's always right. Kelly O'Hara as Aurora Fane. Love Kelly O'Hara. Big musical theater actress. Deborah Monk.
Aurora.
Oh, sorry. I'm on a different page. You're showing pictures over here. Deborah Monk was out here as Armstrong. Cynthia Nixon is Ada Brooke. We know her from Sex and the City. And she ran to be the governor of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if she would have gotten that job, she wouldn't have been able to do this job.
No, right. She ran a solid campaign though.
She did. I mean, I thought she was going to win, honestly.
Yeah.
And Baranski's husband is actually old money, and his family is referenced in the show.
Mm-hmm. See that
You're
Keenan Bolger,
missing
Mrs.
my
Bruce?
favorite though.
Who's your favorite?
Who's your fave? Oh, Danae Benton?
No.
Oh.
Michael Cerveris.
Michael Cerveris, yes.
As
he is
Watson, which he was my favorite in Fringe. And he is also a stage actor and a singer.
As what? As who?
He's Watson. Close to the second to last, we started to see him. He is loitering across the street from a wealthy woman going inside a house.
Oh, yes.
He introduces himself.
Okay. Who do you think that is?
I don't know.
I think it's
maybe his daughter.
I think he got a tryst with another woman, with a wealthy woman. Mm-hmm. That's his daughter.
I think so too.
Of course, Audra McDonald.
Yes, the legend.
My dear.
I love her.
Yeah, she's So I mean, the cast is stacked.
And the main girl.
Yeah, Danae.
No, the other one. The other one.
Oh, Louisa Jacobson.
Who is Meryl Streep's daughter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she has 3. She's the one that looks the most like her.
She has been in a few things. But none of them have done very well.
I was like, I know your face. I wasn't invested enough to search.
See
why?
See,
but I was like, I know who she is.
I wouldn't have known either, except she was on a show and they asked her about it, of course, and she was talking about her mother photobombing the party that she had, the casting party or whatever. Like she just had to show up. Yeah. What did we like?
Gowns, beautiful gowns. And the set was gorgeous.
Those sets were
every shot was beautiful. They did a lot of really great cinematography work. One that sticks out specifically is I think is it the third episode when there's the funeral for the man that has shot himself because he won't be as rich as he was before. And
after he got down on his knees and groveled.
Yes.
Yeah. And they signed the he was signing the thing, new railroad thing, and there was like some shots of like up from the casket and up from that like table, and I was like, this is smart and fun. You're trying to make this work.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the design was beautiful and the shots were beautiful and the acting. There were some great performances. All these actors did a great job on making me feel like something was happening.
I feel like there's so much in what you're saying right now.
Layers.
Right.
Layers.
Right.
We hear you.
Right.
Hear you. But,
so go ahead, Julie.
Oh, no. I was just going to say they spent a lot of money on hair and wardrobe.
Yes.
It was immaculate. The house that the Russells live in.
Just stunning.
Gorgeous. Yes.
Wait, yes. I'm sorry though. When nobody showed up to her party, I laughed so hard. I was cackling. And then he was like, I don't know what the poor would do with lobster. I was like, eat it. They're poor. Like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah, there were
was
so many
so funny when no one
so
came to that big ass house. And even worse. Everybody stopped by at the beginning for like 10 minutes. Like everybody was that person that never wants to go to the party. That like is the one that's like there first, so they can say hi, they can say they were there, and they bounce it. That was the whole community. That cracked me up.
She was so hurt. She
was so sad. I was like, oh.
But it was too soon. Like she thought just because she got the house, that was going to do it. She underestimated the petty.
But she is a shrew, okay? Through and through.
She is not.
Like,
She
is a villain.
She is.
I don't see her as anything else.
But I do like him.
Yes, Mr. Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Russell was amazing. He is cutthroat. I mean, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Just so casually.
Right.
But he gets away with it, but she does not. Because they're the same.
They are. And
but he's not disrespectful. He's just honest.
And he's also more patient about, I don't have to prove myself to who. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to do the thing and you're going to respect me. She wants to be the friend. She wants to have the notoriety and to be in the social circles without really having to do anything to get there.
And then he's like, I'm going to show you how to do it. Here, I'm going to buy out all your shit. You
yes.
can leave now.
At
Here,
the charity swap meet.
You can leave now. Yes. And that's what she could have done. If she had walked into that first thing and instead of being like, oh, hello, and been like, yes, I'm here. Oh, you don't want me here? Great. Here's my check. Farewell. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it'd be fine.
Right.
Like, I respect that more than you like being disrespectful. She's disrespectful. She's like mean to people, including her daughter. I'm like, you need to let go.
She is really mean to her daughter.
That was a lot. That was a lot. What did you think about the Russell children?
Gladys is Vera Farmiga's sister, and they remind me of each other.
You said whose sister?
Vera Farmiga. Do you remember her?
I do not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay, Men in Black. Farmiga. Men in Black 2, I think. And she's been in other things.
Okay.
Let me think of something.
Wow, you pulled that name from the vault. Like she
like but I was the one. No.
What? She's fairly well known. Maybe. I don't know.
It's okay, Julia.
I feel like she's one of those. I feel like she's one of those actors that, like, clearly she's always working. I just never know who she is when I see her, even in this movie. Like, I feel like she is one of those people that does truly, and this is I often don't say this, but she truly does disappear into those roles because I don't know. I couldn't tell your face, but she works all the time. Her IMDb is deep. Yeah,
she was in Hawkeye.
Right, and I'm like, what? Yeah, couldn't tell you. That's hilarious.
What I do know is I could tell that they were having her hair down and dressing her very, very young to make it to so that we understood that Bertha wasn't bringing her out because Bertha wasn't ready.
Right.
So Bertha dictated what dresses she wore and how she would wear her hair because she was keeping her a little girl for as long as she could until she could bring her out the way she wanted to bring her out. And then the next thing will be who she marries, because she's not going to marry an American. That is not Bertha's plan at all. She's going to be one of those dollar princesses. Do you know what a dollar princess is, Nick?
I mean, I feel like I get it based on like the context, but tell it
So
to the people.
During the Gilded Age, what they did was if you were new money, the next level was to be an American aristocrat. And the only way to do that is to marry a British aristocrat. So what we had in Downton Abbey was a dollar princess, but she's already in England and established there. So this is just the setup for that. So that's how the two shows are actually linked.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's also something so horrifying about the conversation about people in these period pieces. Like, I'm like, everyone like was a commodity. Like, y'all was cool with that and still are, like, in a lot of ways. Like, and it's wild to me, like, to think about like how culture has shifted, but like some of these like same conversations about how to come up or like ways in which to like gain your success or notoriety or like, I don't know. It's weird. It feels creepy to me now to keep talking about it.
Well, I will tell you that New York society has not changed very much.
No.
There are still these conversations going around. There's still people trying to impress the Astors. But, you know, now also bringing in some of the new money because they had no choice. They were dying off. But still the same level of charity, respect, work, things like that still come into play. That's very much alive and well in New York.
Absolutely.
So I wasn't sure how Rakes was going to play out, but his name is the indicator. Mr. Rakes. He's a rake. But I was so hopeful because I wanted the aunt to be wrong.
She's always right.
Yeah, she was right.
I learned that quickly because at first, when Cynthia Nixon had her little boo thing that was like, "Oh, I love you, boo thing."
Oh my God.
And she got him alone in that room, and she was like, "What you not about to do is think that you just about to be moving in my house." And that was moments that I was like, "Oh, she's always right. She knows."
That was probably my favorite scene because you learn so much about her so quickly. I just want to gossip with him. And then he sat down for this A, B, C, D, E. She just read him and then he's gone. And then she immediately turns to her sister and says, "Okay, so we need to get the menu for the week and pick out some things that you like. And I want to spoil you a little bit." And she said, "Well, I don't know why." And she said, "Well, you know, I'm going to." And that was probably the most loving thing she had done for her sister up until that point, and probably the whole season. Still. Right. But you saw that she was trying to protect her because she loves her, because she could have said a whole lot of things, but "I told you this, man. I told you, you know," but no, she just pick your stuff out. I'm going to take care of you. thought that was so sweet. I don't know.
Oh.
Where'd that come from? The other computer? Sorry. I meant to hit that. And they were good together.
They were good together. Great acting. They bounce off of each other really well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else you
And
like?
the characters are written to complement each other really well. There's some fun writing. I just wasn't interested.
The story with the black people?
Yes.
The
Like
Scots?
that I would have. Can we have a spinoff called The Scots?
Are we going to include the daddy?
Yes. Because he's going to have some fun friends.
I wish we would have seen more of them. When you first went in the Scott house, it was well appointed staff and white gloves, and this young black girl goes in there.
But
my gloves. Yeah,
but literally the first big moment of the not big moment, but it's a black savior thing from the literal beginning.
Are we gonna talk about the shoes? Can we talk about the shoes?
I mean, it's what happens after the shoes that I like. I paid for your ticket. I loaned you money for your
right.
Yes,
I loaned
yes,
you money.
I paid for your ticket.
Right.
And she said it well. She said, just because we're black, we have to be poor.
Mm-hmm.
Put some respect on my name.
That was another scene I loved. Yes.
Love that scene. It was great. I want more of that because I like that show. I like the show where the white girl come to the Brooklyn and is forced to deal with her own whiteness in the face of all these wealthy black people. Right.
Okay, so what could have been better, Nick?
It needs to be the Scots because that was what was interesting. Everything else, I was like, I don't have time for these rich white people problems. Oh, no one came to your party. Boo-hoo. You built this size of a house in 1883. You know how much labor that is?
It's a lot.
They said it took 10 years.
Get out of my face. Get out of my face. What am I doing here? What am I watching this for? There are people slapping each other.
Oh my God. No.
Don't bring it back.
No. We're not going to go back. We ain't going to go back. I thought that they played a great power couple.
They did.
I could not stand the maid from the beginning, which we weren't supposed to like her. But Turner? I did think that that it was something about the way she left, and then she just falls off the face of the earth. We never see her again. I wonder if she's going to come back, and she may not. I don't need her, but her story just kind of, the book closed. I thought that was odd.
That was similar to what went on downstairs at Downton Abbey. The whole, I'm going to pay you to spy on your lady. But also I liked that he turned her down. Mr. Russell turned Miss Turner down when she showed up, not once, but twice in his bedchamber.
She was bold.
Naked.
Yes, just
I was like, you ain't got no clothes on.
But he rebuffed her and didn't say anything to his wife.
Right.
And then when she asked his opinion, Mr. Russell said, it's not my place to say. He just stayed out of it. Cool, calm, collected. Right. But I think we will see Miss Turner in season 2. I think that she will become vengeful. And we'll see what she has to offer. But I also want to hear more about Miss Van Ryan's gay son. We'll see what happens to him. What?
I want to see.
What was that,
I want to see what John Adams' great grandson is going to do. That's what I want to see, because he played him. He said, "Wait a minute, let me get your bags." Showed up in Newport. Let me get your bags, and she liked him.
I'm just so tired of these played out, tired queer narratives. The queer community has been a bunch of like amazingly eccentric and exciting and like wild and fun people for centuries. And all we ever get is the closeted son that has to be closeted because I have to live this life. Well, if you're going to talk about this life, what does the life look like? Like
well,
go somewhere.
McAllister is out. Remember when Miss Fane said,
but he's not fun.
No, Mr. McAllister?
They're all boring.
Cute. No.
They're all like,
No.
oh, what you
Entertaining.
say?
No, he's the party maker.
Miss Astor's
I can't.
bestie.
Yeah, Nathan Lane.
It's just all so exhausted.
That accent
also
was a lot.
Was a lot. It's
Yeah.
just all so
It
exhausting.
was a lot.
I'm like, this is all boring.
Okay. Toby said we never found out who wrote that
Need some
note to
nuance.
Agnes about the butler.
I know. I thought that when Bannister went over there, he confronted Mr. Church about it because Turner told him that Church did it. I took that to mean that Church wrote that note.
Church is the Russell's
Yes.
butler.
Yes.
I think he wrote it. I think he wrote it.
And I think that's who wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he came over and said, "Oh, you have changed up your household." Oh. Yeah.
One more. Toby said Rex is an Aries. Oh, Toby, I love you. All right. That it? Anything else? I didn't say I love the costumes. My mother,
Beautiful.
my mother loves this era. We have so much Victorian furniture in the house and flowers. And I remember being young and her spray painting everything gold because that was, she loves the Gilded Age. So when I turned her onto it, I don't know if she's even paying attention. She does pay attention to the story, but she's actually looking at the sets and the wallpaper and
Because it's so
the
pretty.
furniture, and all of that is just perfect.
I was like, I've seen HGTV.
That's
Why are these people talking during the house tour?
Okay, Nick. All right. What is your score for season 1 of The Gilded Age?
You know, I'm going to give it a 2.
A 2?
Ouch!
1 point for, oh, I thought y'all were shocked it was so high. Yeah. 1 point for the design of the show. It was beautiful and amazing. And another point for this amazing cast and the performances that they gave on this work.
Okay. Julia?
I'm going to give it a 4. The production value alone, like this was dripping in money. Like they went all out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it showed. Taste level high, costumes great, sets gorgeous, cinematography on point. I think that they did a lot and elevated what we saw in Downton Abbey, which was very much, 2-camera, out in the fields, like glorious manor type thing. And this is a little bit different. It's a little bit sharper. It's a little more modern. And I appreciate that. I will be tuning in next season, but they will have competition because Downton Abbey's coming back. And I will be watching that as well.
To television?
Yes.
What?
Downton Abbey's coming back.
I didn't know Downton Abbey was coming back. I know the movie is coming out.
Let me see.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite back and forth about anything ever. Downton Abbey's coming back.
The new
What?
movie's coming out, but
Downton Abbey's coming back.
I saw a
To
blog
television?
post that PBS was bringing it back. They were reviving it for television. Yes. I don't know.
Interesting.
We know the movie's coming, but I think it might be coming back to TV. But that's
going to be the same family. What? What? Okay, I mean, I'm probably in anyway because
money is money.
Right. But the clothes, the furniture, the wall designs between the molding and the wallpaper, all of the outdoor sets and scenes, the Statue of Liberty hand, all of the carriages and making sure everything on that street, like you saw a functioning street for 1882. That was a lot. The costumes, some of the costumes were not quite period, but period enough. Like most of Bertha's things, and it was interesting. Everybody had a color palette. Bertha had a very interesting beginning, but by the end, she's much more subdued. And so you really see her growth in, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do to fit in with this crowd. And so she really calms down, because at first it's like feathers and stuff and birds and just all kinds of, and just all the stuff, just gaudy. And then everything just kind of evens out a little bit. So I appreciate the storytelling with the costumes. I appreciated the costuming for, what's Danae's character's name again?
Please hold.
The black girl.
Peggy.
Miss Scott.
Peggy. The
forgotten Skylar sister.
Peggy. She wasn't she? Yes. Because the other one just won an Oscar. No, she wasn't. Yeah, she was a Skylar sister.
No. Who, Peggy? And Peggy. I
No.
was making a Hamilton joke.
Yes, the other one just won an Oscar for West Side Story.
Ariana DeBose? She
Yes.
wasn't an OG Skylar sister, but she probably did it.
She was one of the people that she dressed up like a boy. Anyway, Peggy. I appreciated the fact that Peggy, you knew from the beginning, if you were paying attention, that Peggy came from money. Just
Right.
from the fabric, the material, and her clothes and how it was tailored. And she whipped up several dresses before we see too much of her family and the home. I appreciated that. I also appreciated the mentions of Lewis Latimer and going to the newspaper, where now I can't think of his name, and we actually did a thing about him during Black History Month for the house on social media. But those people are referenced because they're there. And I love the joke about Latimer working with Edison, and I'm sure Edison is going to give him credit. Right? No.
Yes.
So I also appreciated the fact that her father was born into slavery and grew up as an enslaved person. And we don't know how he met his wife, but that she was likely born free, living in New York. But the two of these people have come together, and he's been able to amass some wealth because that's something that Black people actually did. And that's not a made up story. So I appreciated all of those things in this story, as well as all the other costume stuff, because it's a costume drama. So I think I was at a 4. I might be at a 5.
After talking it out, huh?
Jade, thank you so much for giving that brilliant dissertation on how the show could have been interesting. Because all of the things that you had to guesstimate on were stories that would have been very interesting to watch and engaging. But I do have to be remembered that they were included. So yay for including Black people because they were there. not actually fleshing out the story and making them the point because it's a more interesting story than these white people talking about giving money to charities.
And it's not a story that's made up. Like you
So
don't
I give
have
it
to
a two.
just
I
throw
will give
them
it a
in.
2.25.
Just say 2.5.
No,
I knew he was going to say no.
I thought about it, but then I was like, no, that's a quarter.
What's in that bottle? Like,
I feel like
Angry
it
Orchard.
should be a 2.5.
No,
All right.
I just, because I get it. I'm happy that they were there. I'm happy they were included, but also, like,
included because they were there, not just
Right.
because we want to put them there, but because they were there.
But
those
they
are the
deserve
stories
more
that
than
I'm
that. Those people
interested
have
in.
right. Those are the stories that I'm interested in, and instead they're like just like a sprinkle on the side.
well, but do you like period dramas at all?
If they're not about what this is about, like
Did
if it
you
was
watch
if it was the yes, I love Bridgerton. If it was about what the story Jay just told, I would be all up in this. But instead, it's a story of like wealthy white people politics, and I'm like, well, this is very uninteresting to me.
All right, well, get to writing. So Bridgerton just dropped. So how far are you into Bridgerton?
Oh, I'm done. It was good. I'm done. I watched it. Second day out. That's what I did with my Saturday. Not ashamed to tell you. I watched all 8 episodes all the way through, and it was super cute. I loved.
But hold on, no spoilers. Nope. That's a whole different show. I just asked that question.
Though,
nope.
You're gonna have to mute her. You're gonna have to mute her. She's just gonna keep saying stuff.
I will just say
Julia?
the leading lady.
Yes, you gotta mute her. Like you can do that. You have the power as the host.
That skin.
No,
that hair,
no.
It was fabulous.
No. Okay.
I haven't started watching yet.
Okay.
But and that's okay. So here's the thing. So yes, Julia, I do love Bridgerton, and I was thinking about why I didn't like the show versus Bridgerton. One, the dialects. I'm gonna start there. Like it's already more interesting. And two, instead of taking real Black folks that were there and placing them into a space where they were and using them as a plot device for the white woman to learn kindness or for her to get the white lady to the place where she could even begin her story, they're like just included as people that like are just having the same problems everyone around them is having. And it's like it's a different. If we're going to just throw people in, I'd rather you do that than like try to like say that you're attempting to. Because then Nathan Lane also, I just watched The View where Nathan Lane was on. He was on last Friday. And they were talking about, Sonny Hostin was like, all these amazing things about the show, about the Black family and blah, 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 blah. Like, is that what drew you to the script? And he was like, oh, no, I just like the writer. But, I think it was great that they had these Black actors there that I think were able to be a big part of telling that story accurately. And I'm like, wow. So it wasn't even a discussion about the fact that that inclusion was happening. There wasn't even a deeper thought other than, wow, we like that. And that's an interesting storyline. So it's...
Isn't that how it always is? He just told you
no,
the truth.
That's not what's happening at Bridgerton.
For him.
Well, but that's Shondaland. He told you what happened every place else.
Well, we knew that, though.
And he doesn't have any interaction with the Black people, so...
But it's just... But you would think that might be something that you'd be it was the flippant nature of his response is to me how the show handled the Black people in the show.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not going to say that because
for me.
But you didn't like it. So.
I didn't. I like the Black people though. And I was like, so why you just gonna throw her on the side like that? She was your literal Black savior from episode 1. And now she's just like a B character. What? You ain't even got money to go on train. You let somebody rob you. Anyway, sorry.
Oh man. Well, there will be more Peggy next season, and her mama, and maybe her child.
Let's just get a whole spinoff.
Well, but that's one thing. Is the child alive, or did the child die in childbirth?
The child did not die in childbirth, is what they found out.
Okay, that's why we're looking for the midwife. Okay.
Right. She was looking for the midwife because she never got to see the body.
Yes.
And so she had questions about what happened. She just wanted to know what happened. But then...
It's a valid question.
Right. Then she found out, wait a minute, my child is alive. My daddy knew. That's a whole mess. I did hear some people asking, what what do you think the story is about her husband, now ex-husband? Now, on another podcast, and there are no people of color on that podcast, they were saying, well, he couldn't have just, I mean, unless he was just really, really poor, he would have had to have been white. That's why he didn't want her to marry him.
No, I don't see her with a white man. I don't see that storyline. I would think that he would be a radical, an abolitionist, someone fighting for the people that turned off dad. I think that he was of social conscious and she fell in love with him. I hope.
I don't trust him. It's about to be some low down dirty. Of course, he wasn't there nonsense.
Another rake. Radical might fit. There is a Back to Africa movement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was revolutionary.
Wait, what year is Marcus Garvey?
Marcus isn't going to be till the early 1900s.
Okay, then
It's like 1913,
who's doing
1914.
Back to Africa at this time?
Well, so with Fred, you've got Delaney, Martin Delaney.
Oh, okay.
And then after Delaney, there's a whole crew of folks that are still, we need to get up out of here.
Okay.
And then you get Marcus. So yeah, it's a possibility.
Okay. That would be a good plot development.
Could be. I would be interested to see it. Nick would watch it.
I don't know if we're going to get Nick back for season 2. Stick to Bridgerton. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot less sex scenes, which I was disappointed about, but okay.
Nick, Julie's just going to tell the story. Just stop talking about Bridget. Nick, where can we find you?
Currently, nickwickham.com. The Come with nickwickham.com. I am doing a new episode of Hot Takes every month where I talk about the hot takes with the people in the world. And I have a new job. I'm moving, leaving Omaha, going to New York. I'm program director for the Black Theater Coalition. So, as you see,
I'm very happy.
Thank you.
I'm also very
talent seeks out talent.
And so I may straight up disappear for the end of April and resurge in May after I get settled in New York to do this cool stuff. So
okay. And then you could just go on location.
I can go on location
in New York, and we'll talk about the Gilded Age again.
I mean, listen, I'm still gonna. I mean, it's just a job, so I'm gonna still try to have. I can have actual nights off now, which wasn't something that could happen before. But it's wow, I get to do my job from not. I don't gotta go to nobody's rehearsal unless I choose to.
Nah.
What a wonderful thing, making the shift from all freelance to being able to work a job that is cool and be able to supplement with freelance. Highly recommended. But yeah, that's what's happening.
I'm happy. I'm proud of you, but I am sad.
It's okay. I'm gonna be around. I get paid so I can travel now.
I know. It's okay. I'll get over it. Julia, do you want to be found?
No.
Okay. So the House of Afros, Capes, and Curls, afroscapescurls.com, all the social media. Nick will be talking about the slap, I'm sure, again somewhere
I'm sure will. I will say, I want to say out loud, I recorded Hot Takes on Saturday.
Ooh.
So this episode of Hot Takes will not include the conversation about the slap, but I will be probably having it for a long time. I feel like this is going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some flowers in the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. And
Marcus, I miss you.
I know.
Yes, Marcus.
And I love you too, Mick. I saw you trying to yell at me in the comments. I love you.
We'll have to go play. We'll have to go play a game before you leave. We'll have to have a house party for.
Wait, could
Nick.
we do a whole episode with them at a board game, like live?
I mean,
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Whole cast.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. I think we're done now. Everybody have a good week. Thank you for commenting and being engaged in the chat. We appreciate that. And we'll see you next week. I don't remember what we're talking about next week, but
is it Bridgerton?
Is next week the 11th? No,
it's the 4th. It's Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Oh, I saw a commercial for that, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I have to remember why I wanted to see it. I mean, I know who Moon Knight is. I have to get into it. I don't know.
What platform?
Disney
That's
Plus,
Disney.
right?
It's Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Disney's about to start taking over because Moon Knight and then Kenobi all come out of this, I think, within a day of each other or the same day.
I got to tell you, like, now that Netflix doesn't have Star Trek, like, I'm thinking of canceling it. Like, Bridgerton can't outweigh. Like, I don't have Picard. I don't have Cisco. I don't have Janeway. Like, I didn't want Enterprise. But these are things that I watch on a daily basis.
Do you know what's keeping...
Daily. If what I watch isn't there, like, I don't know if they deserve my $15.99. In fact, I downgraded to $9.99 already.
Well, see, and this is the problem. This is the problem. So Netflix is actually, sorry, another hot take real quick. Now, this is featured on the show, but Netflix is actually trying to crack down on, like, people sharing their passwords.
Right. Yes.
Because they're losing money. Like, because people aren't buying accounts, but also people are leaving. People are leaving Netflix right now because they're losing all the content. And they're making their own stuff, so they're spending money and not necessarily getting the amount of return that they need because they're losing people. But now that's why they're trying to raise prices and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you know what's keeping Netflix alive? The people that are down for like a weird true crime docuseries every month, because I am in there.
And a lot of Asian movies.
Yes.
Korean, Japanese, Bollywood, and African movies.
Yes.
Yes. Nollywood.
Yeah.
So what's happening with Netflix right now is actually very interesting. So.
Okay. And on the next show, I think we need to talk about why when you see elite and rich billionaire Black people, do you say that the trend of elitism is too much in reality TV? You don't talk about the Kardashians and their second show now, but you talk about rich Black folks on reality TV. Send me more. I want to see more.
Have you watched Rich, Famous, and African?
No.
It's on Netflix. And it's literally
okay. One last thing, because I was listening to the official Gilded Age podcast, and the Frick Museum in Philadelphia also had a weekly podcast that they were doing, because the Frick is one of those Gilded Age houses in Philadelphia. So on one of those, I think it was the Frick, the episode where you see Peggy in her house, there was a person who was one of the scholars, one of the people at the museum said, and she was not a melanated person, I saw Peggy and I wondered, well, that couldn't be. She couldn't be giving her train fare. And did they just, throw this storyline in and have her in that house? And then I read something and it said that there were Black people that had money.
Yep.
She worked at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they think of us. And that is why they think that as billionaire Black people, that we are the picture of consumerism or overconsumption. Now
that's
that
her whole job. Her whole job is to know.
And I don't know if she works at the Frick, but she was one of the people that they brought on the podcast. And I said, you're supposed to be one of the people that knows something, but you just said that.
There's so
It's
much
okay.
that I could say right now, but we said we can't talk about it no more, so I'm gonna let it go.
It's okay. We can talk about it some more at the Steampunk Tea Party, where we'll be dressed up in Victorian clothing and
I hope you
steampunk
won't
attire.
have dolls.
Have what?
Dolls, like on the show. We had those creepy dolls.
It is not that kind of tea
Tea
party.
party.
It's not. It is not. No, it's not that kind of tea party. Frick was she? I mean, what's her name? Fish. Mrs. Fish was very interesting. But I understood her. I mean, you know, she likes to have a good time. She don't just like sit around just talking. She tries to liven things up.
But right, even on Bridgerton, the gay people had sex parties. Like they were painting and having sex with each other. Like that, like that's, you know what I mean? Like I need to see like what's going on in the streets.
But they're in London. They're in London and not New York. So I think London was a little more saucy.
They were also, I mean, that's like almost 100 years before. Not quite 100, maybe
I know.
60, 70 years. I mean, there's been a war.
Yeah.
That wasn't civil, so that's impacted some stuff.
Anyway, we could just keep talking for hours, I think.
We could. So I'm going to say we're out. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by.